Getting Away from Sidney, an arena profile of a theatre with a difference, a remarkable touring company of disabled actors.
My lords, ladies and gentlemen, roll up, roll up, roll up! Here we have the finest sideshow in the land, the finest that you will ever see. From the farthest most parts of Her Britannic Majesty's possessions, we have gathered together for your delectation the weirdest, the strangest, the most bizarre collection of freaks that we have ever, I repeat, ever presented at one time. Here we have the real, the genuine, the tested, and legally guaranteed by government statute, the most grotesque, peculiar, revolting collection of exhibits that you have ever had the opportunity of viewing. So, roll up, ladies and gentlemen, pay your money and enjoy the show. You can laugh at them, stare at them, watch their tricks. You know you'll find them lovable. So, roll up, ladies and gentlemen. This could be your last chance, as it certainly is theirs.
My lords, ladies and gentlemen, here we have the Miss Universe Contest. And now, contestant number 1 is Miss Astrogenesis Imperfecta. That's what a mouthful. Now tell me, what exactly does it mean?
Well, it means that I break
He breaks me! Oh, what a witch! Like what? Not the furniture, the pots and pans.
No, my arms and my legs.
His arms and his legs! Remember, judges, personality counts. And this contestant has personality with a capital P.
It was when I was teaching at Hereward College, and I was talking to one of the students there who was a tetraplegic, which means to say he's paralysed from the neck downwards, so he broke his neck in an accident. And he described the accident to me, which was a diving accident. He went to the seaside with his family and went along the pier, and it was a beautiful day. And he dived off the end of the pier, and he hit a concrete block underneath the water. And he didn't lose consciousness or anything, and he remembered in detail and all the trivia, the minutiae that followed. And that was absolutely fascinating. I wrote it down and made a script of it, which was just a monologue, one person describing this accident. And I found it absolutely riveting. And that sort of started off the idea of, well, disabled people have got stories to tell. Let's see if we can actually work out a theatrical form within which they can tell these particular stories. And so it developed from there.
Now, you happy members of the sideshow, it's Hushabye time. Once again, you have enriched the lives of other folk by your courage, your gaiety, and your winsomeness. Well done, sideshow members. Well done. And now, it's time to say nighty-nighty to your Uncle Sidney. Come on, say nighty-nighty to Uncle Sidney. Nighty-nighty, nighty-nighty, nighty. Oh, stop it, you spit.
I find it rather reassuring to know that we're contributing and doing our bit.
Oh, I like the security of it all. Every night without fail, Uncle Sidney comes in, turns off the light, tells us what a good job we've done, and then he says good night.
He doesn't. He says nighty-nighty.
Same thing. It's all rather soothing.
Well, I think it's a load of bollocks.
Don't say that.
Why not?
It's not very nice, is it? And people like I shouldn't
Shouldn't what?
Don't be difficult. Do you know what I mean?
Other people do.
But we are not other people.
No, we're members of the Sideshow.
We
that are born in age must live the lives of the unblemished, so that we can attain perfection of heart, if not body.
Yes, I've been thinking about that. And I don't understand it. You can take away disability, but the story is still the same. It's talking about one group of people who are fed up of being told what to do and having decisions made for them and being used, exploited. I came to England when I was 3. I was put immediately into long-stay hospital. I was a permanent patient up until the age of 9, and my parents came to see me about twice a year. And next thing I knew, I was being told that I was going to go to a children's home. I spent 7 years there, and I was very happy. I was very happy because I'd just come out of a hospital. And so obviously the life there was very much different. In hospital, I was in bed right up until I was 9. They didn't want to risk me doing anything in case I broke something. And when the surgeon applied for me to go to the home, they said, look, you're going to have to treat this kid with kid gloves. It's got to be surrounded in cotton wool the whole time. Otherwise, it's just going to shatter. And so the home was really very nervous when I arrived. And in fact, there was a Christmas party about 3 weeks after I arrived. And the people who ran the Christmas party had a pop group coming in, and they organised a dance competition. And I wanted to get right in there. And I was all going... And suddenly everyone stopped everything, and all the staff came charging on to me. They said, no, stop, please, please don't. I said, why? You'll break something. I said, I won't. They said, you will. No, you don't. And I was really upset about that. I thought, bloody hell, why can't I know I'm okay. I can do it. But they just didn't want to take... So they cocooned me, even in the home, for quite a long time. I was born in Jordan. My father was born in the Caucasus, and he was an émigré as a result of the Russian Revolution. His family were. So they fled to Jordan. My mother was half Turkish and half Arab. My mother was 15 when I was born, and I was the firstborn. So you can imagine the shock to have a firstborn male born physically handicapped, and grotesquely handicapped at that. I mean, when I came out of the womb, I had multiple fractures.
What is your complaint, actually?
It's osteogenesis imperfecta, or layman's terms, brittle bones. And it must have been a really horrifying experience for a 15-year-old girl.
Did they contact?
Yes. Oh, right. If I was to fall out of the wheelchair now, just from this height, I'd probably break a bone. But when I was a youngster, I'd only have to knock my arm and I'd break something, or my leg. Pulling off a sock, I'd break something. And when I was, say, 3 or 4, if I coughed and sneezed, I'd break a rib. So when the next born came along, who was able-bodied, a girl, my mum was absolutely petrified that, this rolling baby would sort of bump into me and cause multiple fractures. Plus the fact that, of course, with all brittle bones kids, when their bones are so fragile, you can't sort of hug them, otherwise you break something. So you lose a lot of bodily contact during the formative parts of your life. So...
You're just being argumentative.
Deliberately difficult.
Just be grateful for what you've got.
And for what you can make of yourself.
Be grateful for being appreciated.
I know that somehow I'll be able to live like anyone else, that I'll make mistakes, that I'll do things wrong, that I'll be unhappy. I know that someday I'll be able to live like anyone else, without having to be grateful, to be subservient, to be inferior. I know that I cannot live my life as a half person, with a half person's ambitions and a half person's dreams. I know that I'm a whole person. And if it's the last thing I do, I'm going to get out of this place. The woods are twee and nice, it's full of candy and spice. You get pats on the head for being good. It's full of people who care, who kind-hearted and fair. They feed us with saccharine food.
I started losing my sight when I was about 18, and from 18 onwards my sight's deteriorated, and I was partially sighted for a couple of years, and then it just dipped. Before we do a performance, I like to walk the stage, and I work out where certain things, like we have 2 prop tables in the show, and the top hat which we use as a prop, which is placed on a stool, just sort of a few foot away from one of the prop tables. Now they're always, I work out the positioning of those, and then sort of when people, the other members of the cast are on stage, placed on stage, I like to work out where they are in relation to the top hat and the prop tables, and that'll give me an indication of where I'm going, see. And that's one nice thing about dancing and having room to dance. As long as you're confident about it, it's a time when a blind person can have that amount of freedom. It's a grand experience, you know.
My soul from inside, and the taste in my mouth makes me spit. Let me be what I am, and I give a damn, it's me. That's it.
Something I like to do is go to a flat beach and yes, shoes and socks off and run, just run like mad, because it's very exhilarating, and it's an experience you do miss as a blind person, because just, as I say, you just don't get the opportunity. Because say you go out in the park running, trouble is that you might, I mean, the kids, there are sort of holes in the grass and things like that which you'll drop into, and you also lose your place if you're not careful. No, I don't feel bitter at all. Well, not consciously bitter. I prefer not to be blind, of course not. But maybe I'm just happy with myself. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have said to me, even friends of mine, that, you know, that like the show is bitter. It's like having a knife thrust in you and twisted round. But I think maybe it's their inability to cope with what actually happens to people in life. Because it does happen. And we're saying it, we're stating it. But why it may become better is that the audience are really put on the spot over it. I mean, the tables are turned, we're in charge, and they've got to watch it. Well, I haven't got to watch it, but they're there to watch. And we're showing them, we do notice. I mean, a number of times I've walked down the street, locally, or on the bus, and I've heard old dear saying, "Shame, what a pity, and she's so young." It's not a full life, it's not a life like ours, you know, it's not those great lives, so, no, then I'm not supposed to hear that. It's a shock to them, maybe the public, the audience, when they find out that we do hear it. It means something to us. But, I mean, I've had, buy them a drink. I've had people wanted to pay bus fares for me, or go to the shops, things like that. Wakey, wakey, rise and shine, my happy little bunch. It's breakfast time, and today is medical inspection.
Oh.
What does that mean?
Doctor's coming.
Must be clean. Comb my hair.
Wear clean underclothes.
That's right, now let's have a nice line. Let's have a look. Brush your hair. Yes. Come on, smile. Here comes the doctor.
Oh, no, doctor, listen to me. I'm going to schedule anything. A parcel and a piss, a parcel and a junk. I'll make everybody as high as a skunk. Shake them both rather than piss. Cure your excess of a miss. Here goes the man to wave his wand. You're going to feel better when I'm gone. What has your tongue? In, out, in, out, in, out. 3 dozen other jobs and I believe to get better. Reflexes.
Ow!
Oh, boy. Must be a slacker. Get off your butt and move it, man. And what would you like?
How about some Spanish fly?
Wouldn't we all? But there seems to be a shortage at the moment. Don't worry. Don't fret. You play football for England yet? Oh, there ain't nothing wrong with you. I'm going to cure you sons of bitches. Then I go home and get marriages. You stay here and don't despair. Medical profession is okay.
I have heard so many anecdotes from disabled people about what has happened in hospital or in their operation or as a result of their accident, not to have raised some question marks in my mind as to the attitude and ability of the medical profession. I can well believe that a lot of these anecdotes are rationalizations by the person to explain why they find themselves in the condition that they do, but nevertheless I think there is enough truth in some of them, if not most of them, to suggest that at times doctors, A, are very unused to physical handicap. They're used to illness, but they're not used to disability very much. And B, that they don't have very much training in counselling or talking to disabled people or patients as they would like to see them, or indeed the parents of disabled children.
When I was in hospital some years ago, I had a broken leg, and I had to have it set and be got up with this broken leg because they didn't want my muscles to recede any further whilst the break was mending. And I was a little bit worried about this because I said to the specialist, I said, but my leg is going to mend in an awkward way. And he said, doesn't matter about that. He said, you don't walk on it.
In the best sense, I mean, they put themselves out, but they told me what they were doing at the same time. I was told about the consequences of what might happen. I mean, I was really lucky, but that was with one, it was only because of one particular person. Now, then the other people who I've come in contact with, related to my condition as well, because I've had to see other people who've not been like that. I mean, I've had things done, or even a case of sort of surgery was going to be performed, and I wasn't told the day before. I mean, it was left to sort of the actual day of an operation where I was not given food because I was told by nursing staff that I was going to undergo surgery that day.
And one doctor who I've never forgiven, he said to me once, he said, don't you feel slightly optimistic really that when you're 16 you're going to be able to walk, you're going to be normal? I mean, you know, it's something to look forward to, isn't it? And like a fool, I believed him. And for a while I went around with this idea that come 16, someone would wave a magic wand and I would be about 6 foot tall and I would have normal shoulders, etc., etc. And so I never thought about what it would be like to be an adult and disabled, what it would be like to be an old person and disabled. I never thought about the jobs that I wouldn't be able to have, the girls that I wouldn't be able to have. It just didn't cross my mind at all.
It's not just a lack of imagination, it's an unwillingness to credit people outside the medical profession with any kind of intelligence, even though these people are living with what's wrong with them. I mean, you mustn't forget that the doctors are not living with the condition, they're only looking on, sort of, at odd occasions. The patient is a fair authority on the condition because they have to live with it.
Listen to me, children, do. Faith in the Lord is needed too. Bow your heads and pray for a cure. Keep your thinking good and pure.
Who are you?
I have come here to tell you that man cannot live by medicine alone. He needs faith. Faith in the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
The power of prayer is simply enormous.
Hallelujah.
Just close your eyes, bow your heads and pray. Make this child well again, O Lord. Raise up your sick and disabled subject, yea, just as the crippled man picked up his bed and walked, do the same for these unfortunates.
You know what, Bish? You and I are in the same business. It's just the wrapping that's different. Put it there, man.
I once went to a nonconformist healing session, which was a very sort of, I thought, a very theatrical affair with this obviously very worthy man who claimed to have healed hundreds of people before me, but I'm afraid he was out of luck when he got to me because he didn't manage to do anything to heal me other than just make me want to laugh at the ludicrous situation.
What,
right.
he was sort of
Yeah.
praying with you? What
Yes,
was he doing?
he was praying with me. He came down from the pulpit where he's been preaching and stood in front of me and, you know, sort of said, put your feet on the floor. And I said, but I can't. Put your feet on the floor, my dear. No, I can't. I said, if you want to put my feet on the floor, you have to put them on the floor yourself, sort of thing. So he did that and then grabbed hold of me by the hands and sort of very intensely said, now stand up. And well, I said, I can't, you know, I can't stand up. He said, but you will stand up. You know, well, after about 5 minutes of this, we both realised that I wasn't going to stand up. Muscular dystrophy, as I understand it, is a motor neuro disease which affects the nerves which operate the muscles. And depending on how this is affected, it depends upon the degree of disability which you have. I think I'm particularly fortunate to be as fit as I am. I think it's very important to keep going, though. I think the same applies to any disability. I'm fortunate, I'm married, I have a husband, so I can live, as it were, outside an institution. But for someone who is not married, the situation is much more difficult. In no way do I want to sort of preach to anybody else who's got a disability, but I do think that the right mental approach to life and to the disability which you suffer from, I think it's very important that you're forward-looking and that you're positive about what you can do. And the more you try to do, I think it is better. I mean, nothing is impossible, really, if you look at it that way. I think everybody needs to stretch themselves as much as they can. I live in a flat in Paynton. I belong to a wheelchair dancing group. I also belong to a disabled sports club. And I'm also chairman of a local group called the Torbay and District St Raphael Club. Wheelchair dancing? Well, it is dancing in wheelchairs. It's exactly what it says. Dancing in whatever form in a wheelchair. You know, you must be at one with the music. Barbara has been able to drive me to different venues, and this has been an enormous advantage, because at first we went by train to London for our rehearsals. You know, we used to go up and back in the same day. Very often we don't know quite where we've got to go. We've just been given things like University of Reading or whatever, and we have to sort of find our way there. Cardiff, London one week, London, Cambridge the next, Southampton the next, Torbay the next. We have covered an enormous area.
All aboard! All aboard! Woo! Woo!
Pardon me, boy. Is it the Chattanooga choo-choo?
Woo! Woo!
Track 29, where you can give me a shine. There's gonna be a certain party at the station. Woo! Woo! Saturday days I used to call funny face. By the light of the silvery moon, I used to spoon to my honey I'll croon love's tune. Honeymoon, keep a shining in June. Your silvery beams will bring love's dreams. We'll be cuddling soon by the light of the moon.
I'm 27, bachelor, Englishman, Caucasian. I'm an Earthman. What else do you need to know? I get a taxi to the station, and then a taxi from the station to the place of rehearsal. It's not painful at all nowadays. Not as much as it was. But, before the skin of my stumps hardened, I had to have therapy. Yes, I spent hours in the hospital, outpatients, walking between bars and swinging things. When you've got obstacles to overcome, and you are mentally normal, you try very hard to overcome them. Whereas if you're physically normal, you haven't got anything to worry about. You haven't got any obstacles to overcome. So, in a way, I think it would do everyone good to have something, have a concrete block tied to their foot or something for a time, just to see how difficult it can be. My accident was 11 years ago, 31st of October 1969. My father, I only had a father at the time. My mother had passed away a year before, which was a blow for the family. My father is a vicar, and he's obviously dealt with many cases requiring sympathy, and so he's poured great understanding, great comfort.
Hello, son. Come in. This is a surprise. Fancy seeing you.
Well, what a surprise. Why didn't you phone?
How did you get here, eh?
Train.
Train? Well, I never. Did you hear that, Mother? He came by train. All by himself. What do you think of that?
Oh, you must be hungry. Would you like some tea, dear?
Now, son, we didn't really expect you. I mean, we're delighted to see you, but, is there anything wrong? Are you unhappy?
We had enough.
Enough? What do you mean, dear?
We had enough of the sideshow, so we decided to leave.
Just like that?
Just like that.
So what now? There aren't many other places like a sideshow, you know.
No, and it really cost us a lot of money, dear.
I was hoping to stay here.
Of course, this is your home.
I have a bad memory and I keep drying up. Not so much now, because I'm getting used to it. It's awful, facing the audience and not knowing what you're going to say. My memory is improving, but awfully slowly. Shall I show you the ghastly details? I lost the left leg below the knee, and I lost most of my right foot, which they amputated. It wasn't in the accident. I was laying down with my feet higher than my head, so the blood could get to my head. And I got gangrene in my feet, so they cut them off before it spread. I was waiting for artificial limbs for a long time because they went on strike. And it's very painful to walk out. I took X pills. And, well, that's it really. I've improved since I joined. I think it's brought up my memory and my speech, which wasn't very much when I first woke up. I had a windpipe stuck in my throat and other details. And, I've improved. It's brought me out of a shell, so to speak.
Oh, well...
I go to several old people's homes in Taunton, and I play whist, and I draw pictures for them to paint, and I play the piano. The staff are very grateful, I think, and some of the patients as well. No, I think there are other disabled people who wouldn't like the idea very much at all. But I just like feeling useful. I don't want to draw my dole and have it just for nothing. I'm having my second life. I keep telling myself that.
To give a warm welcome to Sir Edvar's Pit Butter.
Thank you for that warm welcome. Today is a momentous day for us employers. Today I have great pride and pleasure in announcing the start of a campaign which I sincerely believe, will sweep the country.
Oh, yeah.
It's called Hinder the Handicap.
Oh, title, sir. Brilliant title.
You all know, as well as I do, how we have to protect ourselves from this creeping sickness, this insidious, subtle enemy. He is undermining our great country. He is sabotaging the lives of ordinary, upright, normal, decent folk.
Quite, yes.
He is gnawing away at our most dearly held and treasured institutions, our concepts of justice and freedom. He is the cripple.
Wipe him out.
Problems that are created by adapting public transportation, that costs money.
Yes.
And why should you got the cinemas and the theatres like normal people and contravene fire regulations? They're a pest, they are a nuisance. Join the campaign, head of the handicap.
It unfortunately may end up that way, but I hope that the disabled people, particularly disabled as opposed to the social workers, etc., will take hold and will take and use this year to their advantage, even if that may sound rather bad. I mean, I think we have got to get what we can in the year of the disabled. I'm from Angus in Scotland originally, and came down south 8 years ago. I work for a company that basically, in one sentence, we sell photographs to the advertising industry. There's not much else to say, actually. I do all the administrative work, typing, accounts, hoovering the office. Basically everything that needs to be done in an office, I do it. It showed me that the need for accessibility and for laws to be changed was much more important than I'd thought. I'd never really fought for anything for disabled people before, but I've had my eyes open in that direction, and I've written letters and become much more involved in the political scene of disabled people. If things were made accessible for the disabled, this would not be to the disadvantage of the able-bodied. This would also be advantageous for them. I mean, we're not asking for anything that's only going to help us. I mean, that sort of thing would be for everybody, and there's no real human reason in the majority of cases to make a difference, because everybody has something wrong with them. You wear glasses. Everybody has a problem. And some are just, you can see, and some are hidden. And sometimes I feel lucky in a way that perhaps I've got something you can see.
But I'm Jag Plah, a spastic. I live in Hayes, in Middlesex. I'm King Jag, I'm brilliant. I'm a superstar. I'm going to be a superstar. That's all over the place, on the workbench, on the car, and whatever. Because when I was a little boy, my mum's friend from mum's work saw me, and she said, out of all the disabled people she's seen, I must be a king to get up to the things that I do get up to. And I put that on there. And it's also a challenge. People come up to you, oh, you reckon yourself a king. How can you be a crip and a king at the same time?
Send in the defendant.
Call Jag Plah, call Jag Plah, call Jag Plah, call Jag Plah.
What is your name?
Jag Plah.
And what is your address?
16 Keithrow Days.
And what are your qualifications?
GC Master level in English.
What's that? Tell it to speak up a bit.
Speak up a bit, will you, boy? I would like to call my first witness, my lord, by way of referee, Miss Peabody, teacher. Raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Miss Peabody, can you give your testimonial as to the applicant's suitability for this post?
He is extremely hard-working and conscientious. His diligence has been properly rewarded by his test scores and exam results, which prove that he is considerably above average intelligence. He is totally independent in looking after himself, and he has a pleasant and outward-looking personality.
Just one question, Miss Peabody. When the defendant took his tests, did he receive any extra help or time?
He completed half his papers by typing, and the rest by the help of amanuenses.
What?
Amanuenses, my lord. It means dictating an answer for someone else to write down.
I see. Thank you.
Thank you. You may go. For my second witness, my lord, I would like to call the defendant's careers officer. Raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
So, you think that a machine operator is a proper post for your client, hmm?
I feel certain he has every chance of gaining and holding such a job. Furthermore, it would allow me to close the file on the client and return him to a meaningful, contributing member of society.
Thank you. You may go. And now, if I may turn to the defendant himself. How fast do you type?
What the hell has that got to do with being a machine operator?
What? What did you say?
I said, what the hell has that got to do with being a machine operator?
Can't understand a word. Can you, my lord?
Not a word. Am I supposed to take this applicant seriously?
I see we're going to have to get an interpreter. Does anybody here speak spastic?
Yes, my lord. I have an impressive range of degrees in foreign languages, including several dialects of Spastic.
Thank God for that. Will you ask it how fast it types?
Thank you, Captain.
I applied for the job because it didn't require typing.
What did he say?
He applied for the job because it didn't require typing.
And what about making the coffee?
What the hell has that got to do with being a machine operator?
What the hell has that got to do with being a machine operator?
Now, look here, we'll ask the questions round here. Come on, what's the answer?
I'll drop it.
He'd drop it.
Well, there the prosecution rests, my lord. It is our contention, for the defendant is completely unsuitable for this post, in spite of his considerable educational achievements, as he fulfills none of the criteria of competence required.
Thank you very much. Has the defendant anything further to say before we pass sentence?
You can take this job and stick it up your arse.
What did he say?
He said, thank you for considering his application, my lord.
Quite so.
Yeah, when I first went to work, it was funny, they kind of looked at me. He said, what's he going to do in a place like this? And for the next couple of weeks after that, I got a lot of sympathy and people going, poor chap. But now they're used to me. It's quite fiddly, but I'm lucky. If I do a certain thing, I'm okay. Oh yeah. The manager treats me like everybody else. I mean, if he thinks that I'm not working, he will say, poor boy, let him go. He'll be out there with his stick, which is good and which makes me happy that I'm treated like being everybody else. First ambition I ever had was to be an artist, but at school I soon got fed up with that. And after that I always wanted to be an actor.
From how old is this?
From about 7 or 8, earliest that. I used to watch cowboy films on the television and I used to go, it'd be great doing it on there. You can kill everybody and get away with it, you know.
So, did you, before the Graeae Theatre Company came up, did you try to get into any other theatre companies?
Oh yes, just before I met Richard, I tried to get into a nearby local amateur theatre company. And they gave me a part. It was about a 5-minute part and about a 2-hour show. And the part was they carried me on stage and they carried me off again. And after the show, in the finale, I used to go on with me crutches. And people used to go, we know why you were carried on. Didn't you do marvelous? I didn't do a damn thing, I just sat there. People think just because you walk a little funny or you talk a little funny, you're in that case.
Do you think the show is optimistic?
Oh, it's cheerful play because everybody's been get to know that the same, or the audience outside get drawn into become part of the sideshow.
Roll up, listen to the man. We're all the sideshow, the brotherhood of man. Come to the sideshow and everybody sing. We are the sideshow, the greatest thing. Come up, roll up, and listen to the man. We're all the sideshow, the brotherhood of man. Come to the sideshow, and everybody sing. We are the sideshow, the greatest thing. Okay, let's have your clapping. Come on, roll up, listen to the man. We're all the sideshow, the brotherhood of man.
say the majority of the audience tonight are in some form or other connected with disability, and as I think your play is to a certain extent educating the ignorant, would you say you're reaching the right type of audience?
There are more disabled people in the audience tonight than are usually in the audience. Our biggest single venue has been at universities, and then we've been to local theatres, leisure centres and so forth. It is rare that we actually go to a centre that is more specifically for disabled people. We played once at a Cheshire home, which was very interesting from everybody's point of view, both because it was such an Uncle Sidney situation. The Cheshire home, there was the sideshow, I mean, written in different terms, but one could see all sorts of features that were like the sideshow, and a lot of the residents there were very, I think, disturbed by the show, because on the one hand, they said, yes, I really should be out there doing something and competing and really finding out what I could do. And the other half was saying, oh no, don't rock the boat, it's much too comfortable. Yeah. And it is, it's a very comfortable life. You know, I'm seriously thinking about it.
I expected that the play would be, shall I say, aimed at disabled people as well as able-bodied people, yet you're trying to hit more the able-bodied person.
Yeah.
I would have thought it would be better to me, I got the overall feeling that it would give, well, it's very easy to say, but if I were disabled, it would almost give me a sense of renewed confidence and pride.
As a disabled person, I thoroughly enjoyed the show, and I've known very many Uncle Sidneys, especially on a holiday situation, where I've gone in a group with other disabled people, and I think it very well represents my personal feelings. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. Come and join us.
Oh, well, I'm blind, a crap pot, I'm black. But I've got everything I need to be a famous rock and roll star. Yes, I've got everything I need. I've got a hunch I'm gonna be the greatest star in history, because I'm blind, a crap pot, I'm black. And there's lots of facts. Blind, a crap pot, I'm black. Oh, how I love my singing style. I'm blind, crap pot, I'm black. And the spasms drives them wild. It my epileptic fits. It's better I can that it's because I'm blind, a crap pot, I'm black. And baby, I won't look back. Okay, everybody, you have now seen what a great potential you have to be a rock and roll star if you're blind, and if you're crippled, and if you're black. But let me tell you something. If I was also gay, and if I were Jewish, and if I were a communist, I'd be in seventh heaven. Blind, crippled, and black. And when my popularity wanes, I'll think I'll break on my back, and I'll start all over again. I'll have the legs cut off the bunny, and baby, I'll always see how great a blind, a cleft pot, and black. A paraplegic can be T, can be. A paraplegic can be T, can be. A